I'll press start now. Okay.
Hi guys, welcome to the next instalment of the Awin webinar series. My name is Frankie Dakin and I'm the Influencer Partnerships Manager at Awin Global. Myself and Nicola make up the influencer team, and today we'll be speaking to you about how to optimize with influencers through Awin. We're going to start with a bit of an overview of the industry this past year, then go into prospecting and outreach, strategy, and then finally reporting. We will be discussing everything you need to know about influencer partnerships with time at the end for any questions. On a side note, I just want to thank Michelle and Hannah from the business development team for organising this session and everyone who has signed up to view this webinar today.
Right, let's get started. It's surreal that it's been over a year since the first lockdown. Shopping habits have changed. We have witnessed an exponential rise in online shopping as the nation was told to stay at home. The pandemic has provided us with a new way of discovering brands and purchasing online. In a recent survey by the Global Web Index, it is now understood that just under 3 in 10 adults globally use social media for brand discovery and research. Social media resulted ahead of traditional search engines for brand discovery and on a par for brand research at 47% among Gen Z audiences. Looking into this a little more closely, as mentioned, social media usage witnessed a significant uplift during lockdown. According to Ofcom, UK adults spend a quarter of a day online, with baby boomers spending longer on social media platforms than ever before. As it might be expected, pre-COVID biggest social media users, our younger audiences such as Gen Z and millennials, continue to drive up usage during the pandemic. Millennials were the highest spending generation in 2020, and nearly 50% of Gen Z have made a purchase based on an influencer's suggestion. With the eldest within the Gen Z age group turning 24 this year, and having grown up with smartphones and social media, online shopping and social media look set to continue playing a huge role for the retail industry, and this incorporates the influence of social creators and personalities. Brands should look to invest in their online and social media strategy to keep afoot with consumer shopping trends and preferences. In particular, there was a significant rise in the consumption of short-term video content during the pandemic. This was largely due to its entertainment value, attracting diverse audiences and providing consumers with escapism from the reality of lockdown. The rise in TikTok popularity speaks for itself. Instagram launched Reels, expanded shopping features via Instagram Live, and incorporated ads into IGTV videos. Facebook rushed its updates to enable creator live streaming due to the popularity of Facebook among older audiences. This trend is also set to continue, with 23% of global online users expressing interest in continuing to watch video content post-pandemic.
So now we go into influencer prospecting. What are the main aims? With more and more marketers investing in influencer campaigns, it's important to understand exactly how influencers can help your brand. To break this down, consumers rely heavily on recommendations and reviews. However, the traditional word-of-mouth marketing has moved online. It's essentially a referral program strategy that incorporates social trust. Millennials and Gen Z in particular have switched off from traditional advertising, opting to view content in real time and select and invest in products that can enhance lifestyle via personalities who are more relatable than aspirational celebrity figures. Brands working with authentic, relatable creators are able to tap into a human element, reaching their engaged followers. Think of influencers as a middleman between your brand and the consumer. Influencers can also facilitate lead generation through personalized codes, exclusive launches, and giveaways. So how do we get started? The key is to make it easy for an influencer to sign up to your Awin affiliate program. Create an affiliate recruitment page on your website. This is a very effective way to bring in publishers voluntarily. Lots of influencers look for these. For a good example, check out the page on the Pretty Little Things site. And then you can also create a welcome pack that explains how your program's commission works and how to create links. As well as that, publisher tags are essential to easily report on all your influencers joined to the program. We'll touch on that a bit more later. And then we've got voucher attribution. We'll go into more detail on this later, but being able to provide influencers with a personalized code exclusive to them is very attractive.
When prospecting for influencers, brands need to ensure they consider more than following. A reach of over 1 million followers does not necessarily mean the engagement rate is strong. Industry average is 2% engagement. To obtain 2% or more, brands should seek to find an influencer with between 10,000 and 100,000 followers, as they are more relatable to the everyday social media user, and capabilities such as Instagram swipe up links can only be accessed by those with a following over 10,000. We have outlined the main two categories, micro and macro. The influencer you target should depend on your brand objectives. A micro influencer has less than 10,000 followers. Having a lower following makes the influencer more relatable to consumers, and this increases trust in the influencer recommendation and can lead to a higher conversion rate. We tend to see increased engagement rates with micro influencers, often between 4 and 8%. A lower following also means lower fees, usually around £250 per Instagram post. This means you can potentially work with and activate more influencers within one campaign and reach a niche and targeted and engaged audience. Longer-term benefits can include the potential for ambassadorship programs to help build brand awareness over a longer duration. Reactivating influencers adds further credence to the influence collaboration with your brand. Macro influencers have a wide audience range and ergo a higher social reach. They have a lower risk of fake followers as they are usually verified, and most will have an agent or a representative. Brands tend to have more control over macro influencer campaigns as the individual influencers are professional social media users within a particular sector. They already understand the aims of content creation and brand KPIs, leading potential for usage and UGC boosting from a brand's perspective. So how can you get the conversation started with influencers? Influencers receive hundreds of emails per week. We advise starting to build relationships before requesting content from them. Reach out to them, introduce them to your brand and ethos. Engage with them organically. Share their content, comment on individual posts. Try to understand them. What motivates your target influencer? Are they only promoting ethical or vegan products? Be sensitive of their values. Each introduction should be tailored to the individual. Let them know you're invested in their content. Do not copy and paste and focus on their talent. Be upfront about your expectations and keep your pitch clear. Remember to be transparent regarding usage, as this often comes with an extra fee. The clearer you are from the beginning, the easier it is to manage the campaign and communications with the influencer. Why do you want their endorsement, and how will this campaign benefit their audience? Here is an example outreach email. Make sure the subject title is interesting, relevant, and personal. This will immediately show the influencer that you've thought about them individually for this campaign. Make sure the email is personalised, as mass emails will be ignored. Introduce yourself and your company. Let them know you've done your research. Why do you want them to promote your product or brand? Provide a brief outline of your campaign and requirements, pique their interest, and most importantly, keep it simple.
There are a few different payment models we can use to incentivize influencers to create content promoting brands. First of all, we have a CPA payment model. This requires competitive rates between 8 to 15% in order to incentivize influencers. This can be a deal breaker, especially when negotiating fixed fees. And then we have gifting, because product is essential for authentic content creation. And then lastly, exclusive codes. If influencers have an exclusive code to promote to their followers, they're more likely to drive sales and therefore drive more commission, which is really attractive. And then we have an example of a tiered commission strategy. A tiered commission structure is a great way to incentivize micro-influencers and mid-sized influencers alike. Tiers can be established any way you want, but commonly by follower count with a different level of gifting, CPA and social post expected for each. Great top-tiered incentives to think about are monetary bonuses for sales milestones, or even, once we're free, invites to brand events such as launch parties. And then we have tenancies and fixed fees. So this gives you guaranteed exposure versus the uncertainty of incentives. We often hear of brands' confusion when they've gifted influencer products to influencers and don't get the expected coverage. Pricing is based on a number of factors and varies by platform and form, not just based on following, but engagement, audience demographic, and vertical. The fees commanded by influencers also depend on campaign terms, project scope, and length of agreement. Desirable brands also tend to have more leverage with price, especially if you can offer a long-term partnership. It's also important to remember that influencers talk to each other and their audiences, calling out brands that are unfair or unequal in their payment practices. And then lastly, the bigger the influencer, the higher the cost. One piece of content from a macro influencer can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on status. For example, if they've got a blue tick, high engagement rate, or follower count.
When it comes to developing an influencer strategy, it's worth identifying what you're trying to achieve. What are your KPIs? Are you looking to invest in an influencer partnership, or are you working on a campaign by campaign basis? One-off influencer activations require less investment, as you are not sustaining a relationship with an individual or an agency. You are also able to test and trial multiple activation scenarios to understand what works best for your product or consumer experience without investing too much into the channel, acquiring more learnings without the commitment. You are also able to gain audience insights across a larger and more varied database due to increased exposure. As a brand, you require fewer resources, incentives, and product supply, as you are not committed to regular product drops. However, 72% of influencers believe ambassador campaigns generate better results, and 70% of influencers are more interested in long-term brand collaborations opposed to paying just for promotion. With an always-on influencer strategy, you can build authenticity, loyalty, and trust among your audiences. The more your selected influencers are associated with your brand, the more an audience can consider purchase due to the recommendation stemming from a trusted and credible source. Investing in your influencer partnerships also increases influencer reliability. You can set clearly defined expectations, objectives, and convey your brand values, and the influencer is able to ensure your brand aligns with their own objectives. You can leverage regular content to support your marketing assets, and you are in receipt of consistent brand awareness. A strong partnership with an influencer can also lead to increased organic content due to the authenticity built in accordance with your brand. Utilising Awin for your influencer activity also adds another layer of value, as you can monitor performance down to product level tracking to see which products are selling well pertaining to each influencer, and you're able to incentivise lifetime organic activity due to attractive commission rates and membership in your Awin programme.
So how do we measure influence? We define influence based on outcome, not on scores, understanding how influence is actually created. Campaigns must be designed with an outcome in mind. Key KPIs include conversions, customer acquisitions, traffic, impressions, social engagement, social uplift, and positive sentiment.
Influencer marketing is not an immediate revenue driver, especially when considering the part it plays within the customer purchase path. Influence and research are considered part of the upper funnel, not usually clinching the last click, particularly when compared to traditional voucher code or comparison sites. When collaborating with influencers, results are accumulative and must be judged with the effect it has on the other performance channels leading to the final purchase. It is important for brands to look beyond the vanity metrics. In the short term, your brand is in receipt of quality content that can be leveraged for on-site CRM or paid media. The influencer provides your brand with exposure and reach outside of internal channels to a new audience. You gain interaction and engagement with an audience aligned with your target demographic and customer profile, and you receive additional site traffic and exploration from potential new customers. In the midterm, regular influencer activations and reactivations solidify brand affinity and encourage conversions. Brand revenue increases, and so does the opportunity to repurpose influencer content. Finally, in the long term, you have created a brand awareness and brand preference among your brand target audience. Furthermore, brands can retrieve new data points. Influencers capture audiences through conversation and personalization. They represent the voice of consumers to the brand. Think about Q&As, polls, and feedback. We use this interaction to gain valuable data insights. 2021 is predicted to see the rise in long-term influencer relationships, also known as ambassador programs. You don't want a reputation as a transactional partner across the influencer space. Consumers really want to consider the brands they are purchasing with. Take time to vet talent and ensure you are optimizing your investment by checking their engagement and audience alignment. This vetting process ensures that you are collaborating with an influencer that has a similar audience profile and ethics. Audiences this year have been given greater access to an influencer. During the lockdown, we witnessed the rise of no-edit videos, we saw behind the scenes, and we had an insight into Insta versus reality via stories. Audiences will be able to identify a forced collaboration if it does not fit in with their usual content. As a brand, it's important to remember that you're building a relationship with the influencer and their following. Expect a lower conversion rate until an audience trusts in your partnership. It can take up to 3 months, 6 months, or even more to achieve an authentic partnership, as the influencer needs time to try the brand. For example, if it's a skincare routine, they need to work on it for a few weeks or months. They need to try the process from purchasing from your website and the delivery, and to learn about the brand values and product range. Then the creator's following needs time to recognise the ambassador's affinity to your brand, to invest in the collaboration by viewing the content a number of times, then to make a purchase via the influencer. At Awin, we can help with this process via our Influencer Managed Campaign service. We create and establish influencer relationships, handhold with onboarding onto your Awin program, vet and source quality influencers, and assist with the campaign process and reporting. We're going to look at the 2 platforms best known for influencer campaigns, YouTube and Instagram. YouTube boasts over 1.9 billion logged in users per month. The top 25 YouTube stars get 3 times as many views and 12 times as many comments as traditional celebrities. Content is evergreen, however, this is reflected in the price. Influencer campaigns across YouTube tend to be more expensive than other social platforms. YouTube is the best platform for detailed descriptions, unboxing, tutorials, and product reviews such as tech products or clothing hauls. Videos can last up to 12 hours, and affiliate links can be included within a link in bio or on cards. With Instagram, 89% of brands consider Instagram to be the most important channel for influencer marketing. It is visually appealing, great if you're a brand that wants to optimize user-generated content or to reuse different content formats, for example, IGTV, Reels, Guides, and IG Shopping. Brands can repost content easily and boost content. Instagram is more affordable with extremely digestible content, and brands are able to grow their own follower content by reposting and tagging influencers. Brands can retrieve data by tapping into IG insights and report metrics, and there are multiple opportunities to shop. Affiliate tracking can be incorporated via swipe up in stories, links in bios, guides, and the new IG shopping tool. However, the content can be finite. Stories last up to 24 hours and videos have a maximum duration of 60 seconds. Before commencing a campaign or outreaching to an influencer, consider which platform is best for your brand KPIs. Where is your target audience? Which channel do they invest their time in? Also consider whether you want to promote a multi-platform campaign. A top tip when considering influencer platforms and how best to secure brand exposure is by looking into the social platform formula. Ultimately, the basic platform formula stays the same. A social media algorithm is an automated calculation that decides which social media posts make it to the top of your feed and which don't. However, if there is a new update, use it. Social media algorithms will favour the newest update, for example, Instagram Reels, Shops and Guides. And remember that platforms are in competition with one another. Instagram will not favour posts with a TikTok watermark. Ensure you are monitoring social platform updates and see how you can leverage this as a brand and as part of your influencer strategy. For example, the industry is predicting an escalation in in-app purchasing.
The Awin reporting suite is ideal for tracking influencer activations. We've got a number of reports that can be utilised. Also, top tip to make pulling influencer data easier is to ensure you add an influencer publisher tag to them as they're joining your affiliate program. First of all, we've got publisher performance. This allows the user to see a breakdown of metrics by publisher for a select period of time. Within this report, you'll find assists. Assists are a key metric in the measurement of influence within Awin's reporting, showing sales or leads where the influencer drove a click but was not the last referrer or winning publisher. And then we've got performance over time. This shows program performance grouped by day, month or year. And then finally, the transaction report, which shows each transaction tracked through the program split by publisher. And then we have voucher attribution. Voucher attribution is a tracking method that enables cookieless tracking by being able to track sales on just a voucher code alone. Voucher attribution enabled codes can be given to an influencer of your choosing. When the sale is made using the voucher code, advertisers pass the voucher code back to Awin via the tracking tag. Sales tracked via voucher attribution will always be awarded to the publisher assigned to the exclusive code. This means that if a voucher code is picked up by other publishers who drive sales with it, the commission will still be awarded to the exclusive voucher publisher, making it completely pointless for other publishers to pick up the code in the first place. So, to summarise, influencers are creative. You may have noticed lots of industry professionals referring to them as creators as opposed to influencers. You're working with them to leverage their authenticity. Let them get creative. Think about the aim of the influencer strategy you're adopting. First and foremost, brand awareness is key. Your potential customers need to be aware of your brand. And expect to invest. Quality content creation isn't easy, or we'd all be influencers. Therefore, influencers should be paid fairly for their work. And then aim to create brand ambassadors. Continued partnerships with the same influencers show the audience that they genuinely align with your brand, and they are more likely to purchase from you in the future. And then I've just got a few examples of influencers that have driven revenue for other Awin SME clients. So firstly, we've got Matt Does Fitness. He drove over 270 sales for an SME energy drinks brand year to date. The fitness vertical has seen a huge increase in influencer conversions since the global pandemic, with people more than ever consuming this type of content. And then next, we've got Amy Travels, a great example of a travel influencer driving sales despite the pandemic. Amy is one of many travel company ambassador influencers on Awin, driving significant sales in the vertical. Despite having a very small following, her follower base is engaged and converts well. And then lastly, we have Leopard Gecko, a great example of niche influencer driving significant revenue for another SME brand, which just goes to show no matter what vertical your business is, there's an influencer that will benefit you. Any questions? I've just seen a few. So the first one, if I send an influencer my product and they don't promote on the day they say they will, how would Awin deal with the situation? So this is like when you're sending an Awin a product, not Awin, an influencer a product, that contract, if there is a contract, is between you and the influencer, so it's not for Awin to step in. I think it's just really about having clear guidelines and kind of expectations in place with the influencer. That just comes into the relationship management part.
It's also worth asking the influencer when it's best for them to post, because they want to make sure that it's most engaged when they do post it, and that then they're going to get the best results. So I would make sure it's a conversation between the two of you and clear from the outset.
Then how do you recommend finding influencers on the network? So there is a publisher directory where you can filter by bloggers and social content, social search, social traffic. That's the best way to find them on the network. Or you can also look at benchmarking with your competitors if you have an account consultant who you're able to contact. Then we have, is tiered commission available on all programs in Awin, regardless of client and client size? I'm not sure on that one, actually. I'll have to get back to you.
For Awin Access merchants, only one commission group is available. However, there are tools within the interface which will allow you to reward different publishers, different commission rates.
Okay, so then we have voucher attribution. Can Awin affiliates receive commission on a voucher code use? Yeah, so that's exactly how it works. I think for a good example is if I'm an influencer, my name's Sarah, I've got a code that says Sarah 10, and that's been attributed to me specifically, then I will be the only person that's going to get commission on that voucher code. And those sales are directly tracked into Awin. You can see them super easily by going to your transaction report. And other Awin affiliates won't be able to earn commission on that code. Okay, so how would we recommend finding an influencer on Awin? Is it easier to approach an influencer and invite them to our program, or find them through the publisher directory on Awin? It genuinely, like, you can do both. I think a combination is what works well. What Nicola and I do, our team, we tend to find influencers, like we're looking for influencers on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and we'll find them that way a bit more organically, rather than just focusing on who's on Awin already and invite them to join Awin. A lot of the time, influencers are already on Awin, they're aware of affiliate networks, they know how it works, so that's just a bonus. But when we're recruiting for campaigns, it's more about who, like the actual influencer, rather than if they're on your network already. But loads of them are on the network. For example, if you want to work with Lissy Roddy, she's already on Awin. The body coach, he's already on Awin. So I guess using a combination of both is what really works. And can you filter on the publisher directory by influencer platform type? No, this is not available at the moment. This is something we are trying to get product to do, so hopefully it'll be coming in the near future.
I think that's the last one.
Ooh. All right, well, thanks guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop us an email and we will do our best to answer them.
Thank you.